First things first, don't look now, but the Golden State Warriors are unstoppable, and at just the right time, should the rest of the league be on notice? Be afraid of Steph and the Dubs. Hey, we finally hear from Urban Meyer on the reported addition of Tim Tebow. He's happy. Why isn't everybody on the Jaguars on board? And new evidence. Ready for it, Nick? Are you sitting down? Of course you are. You're doing television. Tom Brady might play till he's 50 years old. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Wednesday. Jenna Wolfe, Nick Wright, Brandon Marshall, Kevin Wild. Can you stomach another couple years of TB12, Nick Wright?
No. The answer is no.
Come on, Nick. You can do it.
Oh, in a word. What a show we got for you today. And we got to start with a huge game last night. Yeah, Lakers-Knicks from out in L.A. Thought we might see LeBron back in this one, but he was a no-go. So L.A. leaning on AD. And AD, I know, Brandon, wasn't the same player we'd seen the last few games. You've been on this for a while. AD struggling, just 20 points. And what appeared to be pain in his groin. We saw him limping throughout overtime. This game did, in fact, go to overtime. Lakers managed to just barely escape with a win, thanks to a Taylor Horton-Tucker clutch three. It was a win, but it was a costly win. Here's Anthony Davis after the game.
Not sure about tomorrow. I mean, I'm going to get treatment and see how I feel. I want to say I'm going to play, but it was really bothering me tonight. But we'll see how I feel tomorrow. And then later on in the day, it's a very, very strong possibility that fight through it and play since the next day is an off day, but also don't want to have this lagging and then now I'm out for a couple games. So we know the position we're in and we're playing desperate. We're fighting, we're playing hard. That's all we can do. Guys have been in and out of the lineup all year. Dennis, myself, Bron, Kenny, Kuz, like everyone has been in and out of the lineup. So we always had a next man up mindset, and everybody's playing well.
So Nick is calm, but according to AD, they're playing desperate. Lakers hoping LeBron back tonight. They got to play Houston, but now AD's the question mark. And take a look. Lakers still a game back of the Blazers and the Mavs to avoid that play-in. So, Nick, should the Lakers feel better or worse about their playoff chances after last night?
Well, they should feel great. I might have watched a different game than everyone else. Anthony Davis was fantastic yesterday against the second-best defense in basketball. The Knicks somehow got Elon Musk's time machine and all year long have been playing like it's 1994, and they force everyone to play their style. A slowdown, and they get the refs in on it too, and it was beautiful to watch, where they just say, you know what, unless I see a joint out of place or blood on the floor, I'm not blowing the whistle. You guys sort it out. So everyone's efficiency numbers are going to look ugly, but where Anthony Davis was great is where the Lakers have been great all year long, and that's on the defensive end. They are now going to go into the playoffs on a 5-game winning streak. And if the Blazers or Mavs slip up, the Lakers will end up as the 6th seed. If they both slip up, they're going to end up as the 5 seed. And if they end up as the 7th seed, so be it. That's fine. It's a bad beat for the Warriors. That's tough. Sucks for them, but the Lakers will be fine. So, no, the Lakers, without LeBron James, had Denver, the Clippers, the Phoenix. Well, I'll just stop. What's funny? I'm just confused. Well, tell me what I'm saying that's wrong.
Is this how I look when I'm talking about the Nets? Nick, you are saying all of this with a straight face. The Knicks, they don't have they have 2 notable wins in 15 games. The Mavericks, and then also the Clippers a couple games back. So, I mean, the Knicks, are we really going to take them serious? Yeah, let's cheer them on. Let's give them their flowers. But they really haven't played anybody. Look at the schedule. And then you're talking about Anthony Davis, like he had a great game, 8 for 26. Is that what we're calling great? And just like we've been saying I've been saying for a couple of weeks, Anthony Davis is the key. Can he stay healthy? And once again, I don't know if I'm going to play the next game. My groin hurt. I felt some tightness there. So maybe he plays the next game. Maybe
Well, I think we lost Brandon for a moment there. Listen, I'll show you why I think Anthony Davis. Oh, Brandon's back. Okay, Brandon's back. Brandon, finish your point because I want to let you finish your point. We lost your connection.
Yeah, the last point I had was Anthony Davis. Okay, he comes back. Will he make it through the playoffs? Will he make it through the postseason? I don't think so, Nick. If I'm you, I'm nervous. And for you to say everything that you said with a straight face, it makes me believe that's how I look when I'm talking about the Nets.
Well, I don't know. I mean, we talk good about the Nets when they win. The Lakers won last night. The point that there's a few things we got to address here. One is there are 3 games left in the season. Everyone plays the same schedule. So you are what your record says you are, so to speak. This idea that like, oh, you beat the Knicks wins. The Knicks have 39 wins. Or 38 wins. They are a good, not great team. The Lakers last night, after Caruso went out, played the entire game. Drummond was bringing the ball up the court at some points because Schroeder's out, LeBron's out, then Caruso got hurt. And they found a way to win. But I am going to show you why Anthony Davis played a great game. Because it is not make it, take it. It is a two-way game, and let's show the 3 most important possessions of the game. Here is Anthony Davis on an alleged MVP candidate with the game on the line, putting him in the torture chamber. That is what we call a shot clock violation with 13 seconds left in the game that let him get to overtime. Here is, once again, the alleged league MVP getting doubled by Anthony Davis, and that is a travel. And in the final possession of the game, there is the defense lurking like a bunch of octopi, and all of a sudden, R.J. Barrett, who had been 0 for 7 in the game, takes that heave, and you lose the game. So the reason that I can say, Wilds, I thought Anthony Davis played great is because you are going to have to win playoff games with defense. And the Lakers held the Knicks to 6 points in the final 7 minutes of regulation to steal a victory they had no business getting with no LeBron, no Schroeder, and then Caruso going down, so they had no ball handlers. That was a playoff-style game and a playoff-style win for the Lakers.
Yeah, I mean, I don't quite share your optimism, but you have a point. And even the last play of the game, Nick, I think Anthony Davis takes Julius Randle out of that play. And I still think the ball needs to go back to Derrick Rose. I don't think RJ needs to be taking this. But I don't think when RJ's got the ball here, he's thinking, oh, you know what? Why don't I give it to Julius here when Anthony Davis is covering him even beyond the three-point line? Here's the thing, though, Nick. I'm a little bit nervous because the Lakers don't control their own destiny. And I know you're talking about the 5 seed. I don't know what you're doing. The Blazers have the Jazz, Suns, and Denver. They need to win 2 of those. The Mavs have Pelicans, Raptors, and Wolves. They need to win 2. Lakers have Rockets, Pacers, Pelicans. If Dame really wants to make a statement, he controls his own destiny and wins 2 of those games. If you're a large adult Slovenian adopted son, really wants to put himself at the next level, he wins 2 of those games. And both of those teams avoid the play-in and really make LeBron meet Steph in the play-in. So I really think this is incumbent on Dame and Luka to make a little statement here as we head to the play-in to not let LeBron out of the play-in game.
Okay, I once again, I am left somewhat confused as to why we are acting like the play-in game is the consolation bracket as opposed to a very easy route to playing the Jazz potentially in the first round. Sign me up for that, America. Maybe playing the Suns, who they just beat without LeBron James. This idea that if they end up in the play-in, oh my God, what's going to happen? I'll tell you what's going to happen. They're going to win their play-in game, and but it's 2 games, Brandon. It's 2.
One game.
They would have to lose. It's 2 games. They would have to lose to the Warriors and then lose to either the Grizzlies or the Spurs. They would have to lose back-to-back games to those teams. Do you think that's possible?
And the AD injury away. and they're AD injury away, buddy. And I'm just embarrassed. I'm embarrassed that yesterday I came on the show talking about, or a couple days ago, I came on the show talking about AD's back. Oh, the Lakers, they're going to be unstoppable. I can't believe I jumped the gun. AD 8 for 26 and AD hurt again. That is the storyline, Nick. All this play-in game and,
right.
Oh, they got to play this team. Man, AD needs to step up and do what he needs to do.
All right, well, let's see if AD is available for the Lakers' next game, which is Houston. We'll have Chris Broussard on to talk about this coming up. We got to shift to the NFL. New evidence that Tom Brady has got another 7 years left in the tank. That would bring him to 50. This is First Things First. Time for drawing a blank.
That club can't hold you, Jenna.
Oh, yes, it can. Let's start with Tom Brady, the GOAT. Already doing the unthinkable. I got it, Nick. Winning Super Bowl at age of 43. Forgot some words in there. It might just be the beginning of the Bucs, the beginning with the Bucs, though. His general manager, Jason Light, saying Tom can, quote, play until he's 50 if he wants to. All right, Brandon, Jason Light's comments are blank.
I should have said, yeah, right. I mean, this is doing too much. I mean, who wants to see an old, broken down GOAT? That's what we'll be watching if Tom Brady plays till he's 50. Nobody wants to see this. I once went on vacation and rented this little house right on the mountain in St. Bart, and there was like 3 little goats in the backyard. And there was 2 little ones that was taken off, and then the third one was just old and crusty. And I was like, oh, poor little goat. You can tell that was the one that everybody used to follow and everybody loved, but he just couldn't move anymore. That's what we'll be watching, is an old, broken down goat. But, Nick, I kind of like this if it could happen, because it will drive you absolutely crazy for the next 7 years.
Yeah, so I'm gonna try to move forward and not be distracted by the picture Brandon painted of the old goats and the young goats and St. Bart who was on a cliff. It sounds beautiful. Because the last point you made, Brandon, is the right one. This is my nightmare. Like, the idea that Tom Brady could be in my life for 7 more years after what has happened over the last 9 months, I can't. You know how wild people have that recurring dream? They're still in school, they didn't go to class, they have an exam. It's like, oh my God, I didn't even know I was signed up for that class. That dream everybody has, or something similar to it. That has been, the manifestation of that in real life has been Tom Brady's last 5 years in the NFL, where every year he gives me ample evidence he's cooked, and then at the end of the year somehow isn't, even though he is. He throws 3 second-half interceptions, but he wins. If he's going to keep playing, I am going to consider a career change. So it is my nightmare, Wild, because it should have been done with this when Belichick was done with him. Now we're talking about Tom Brady's 5th and 6th acts, and I'm just not here for it. I am absolutely unequivocally not here for it, Wild.
TV needs you. Yeah. TV needs you. Don't do it, man.
He's gonna drive me into retirement.
Okay. Well, I've had that dream. I had that dream. I was in a hammock in St. Bart's on this hillside, and I had some tuna ceviche, and I was having a margarita. Brandon, if you're telling a story about goats, you don't need to mention you're at St. Bart's. You could just say I saw these 3 goats, but I appreciate the full story. My answer is GM trash talk. GM trash talk. We see a lot of trash talk between players in the offseason, even during the games. Rarely do we see, shots fired GM to GM. Here's Jason Light. Bruce and I did mention to him being Tom Brady, leading up to the draft, that we might take a quarterback. We would do that with any great quarterback, let alone the GOAT. Oh, shots fired, Goot and Goose. They ended up drafting Florida's Kyle Trask, but that is a straight shot across the bow to Mr. Goot and Goose, who's going through his own problems in Green Bay. So well done. What a competitive spirit. Let Jason Light Goot and Goose. That's a good drama.
That's right. It's good take, Wilds.
Good news, bad news for the Nets. Let's start with the bad. Kyrie Irving got a facial contusion after colliding with Nikola Vucevic in a win over the Bulls. Kyrie will need more x-rays today. Now for the good news, James Harden could return from his hamstring injury tonight against the Spurs. He'll be a game-time decision. But Brandon, with this team, it's one step forward, one step back. We still doesn't appear to be seeing the three stars in the game at the same time. But let me ask you this. Harden's potential return should have Nets fans feeling blank.
Okay, stay with me here, guys. Look. So there's a lot of producers behind a lot of these shows that you guys watch. All right, we have a few: Sam Pepper, Ketta, we got Dusty, and we have even more. And sometimes, you lean on these guys like, hey, help me out here. With the Nets, I'm like, how do I explain to America that James Harden is everything? He came in, he sacrificed, and then he took the Nets to a whole nother level. Well, Brandon, what about KD? Brandon, what about Kyrie? No, that is the guy. That is the reason why this team will win it. So what do I say? What is my word? And so I lean on Sam Pepper, who's one of our producers, a guy who's helped me out so much in my first year on the show, and he sends me a note. He says, Brandon, here's what you say. Vroom, vroom. He says, vroom, vroom.
What?
You know what the sound is, folks. That is the Nets engine start. Sam Pepper, what is vroom, vroom? You want me to come on national TV and tell America that the word is vroom, vroom? What? Vroom, vroom. Anyways, James Harden is the key. No, I told him I was going to do it, and he gave me the okay. He told me I can do it, but vroom, vroom, Nick?
His point is he's the engine of the car. He's what makes the car run. And so I support Sam Pepper. I disagree with you attacking him for giving you a great answer. My answer is anxious. And here's why they should be feeling anxious. Because Harden is the engine that has made this thing go. This Nets team has not been a great team despite a ton of talent without him. With him, they were 27-7, I think, in his 34 games played. And Wilds, anybody that has never really been injured before, the injury took him out way longer than expected. When they thought he was coming back, they're like, nope, he has to reset back to his square one. I would be anxious if I were the Nets because of if he re-aggravates that hamstring, then their hopes are dashed because they have not proven to be a very good team without him. So I would say cautiously optimistic is one way to put it. Anxious is another way.
Okay.
Vroom, vroom.
My answer is vroom, vroom. So what? Hold on. He gave that to you too? I thought that was a wild specific. This guy's out here playing both sides of the coin. My answer is crammed. This is like cramming for a playoff test. They got 3 games left. Spurs, Bulls, and Cavs. Bulls and Cavs are back-to-back. I think they take Saturday off, and then maybe, guess what we see the night before the playoffs start? Not literally, figuratively. We see all the big 3 back together for the Cavs game at Barclays. So, hey, better late than never, guys. Love it.
What happened in baseball last night? Kevin Wilde searched high and low for the weird and the wonderful. This is pretty wonderful. Yankees. Hey, how about the Yankees turning their season around? Beating the Rays last night thanks in part to this rocket from Aaron Judge. 8th of the year. For him, not quite wonderful enough to make Kevin's list. What do you got, Wilds?
Oh, Patrick Mazeika pulls a Jenna and says, this club can't hold me. Even though he has no major league hits, this is now his second walk-off. And then what does he do? Oh, he pulls a Brandon Marshall in St. Bart's looking at the goats. Take my shirt off. Let the world see me. I'm on the beach. Oh, he's getting showered with water. He's got no hits. He's got 3 RBIs and 2 walk-offs. Now it's his full identity. It's his new Twitter profile. It looks magnificent. Congratulations to Mazeika, because not only do you have 2 walk-offs, you got the weird and the wonderful on today's show. That's the weird and wonderful from the National Pastime Gem. The club can't hold you.
Bravo. If you go to a club in New York City, they don't let you take your shirt off. Just a little known fact. I thought I'd throw that little tidbit in. Hey, Steph Curry and the Warriors, are they peaking at the perfect time?
Guys, can we start the show over?
First. I am a prolific
wanna
love. Back here with Chris Broussard. Hey, Broussard, can we talk about the Warriors for a second? So here's a Warriors team. They go out and they beat the NBA's best team, the Jazz, on Monday. They take down the NBA's second best team, the Suns, last night. And they did that one with a rare bad game from Steph. The guy went 1 for 11 from deep. But then they look around. They get 38 from Andrew Wiggins. They get a triple-double from Draymond Green. And suddenly the Warriors are kind of unstoppable. Take a listen to Dre after the game.
For a second there, we were the hunters. Then we turned into the hunted for 5-6 years, whatever it was. And now we're hunting again. And, you know, that's always a fun position to be in when you're hunting, going after everybody else. So, you know, obviously has experienced both. But I love hunting. That's fun.
Oh, fun
Yeah,
fact.
baby. Talk
Fun
that
fact.
talk.
He loves hunting. All right, Chris Broussard, Warriors taking down the top 2 teams in the league back-to-back nights. Should teams be afraid of the Golden State Warriors?
Well, first of all, let me make sure that not only I heard you right, but Nick Wright heard you right. Did Andrew Wiggins have 38 points last night?
Wow.
What a great fourth option. Oh,
I'm so
excited.
Yes! Yes!
Wiggy.
Good
They
for you,
call him
Broussard.
Iguodala
Wait
Iggy.
for medals.
I'm calling him Wiggy.
Wait for medals. Just hold
right,
on.
we'll
Just
see.
hold on tight. We got about 10
We'll
minutes
see
till
how
medals, but go
objective
ahead and
you
answer
were.
the question. Yeah.
Okay. Now, look, Jenna, the Warriors are not a legitimate threat to win the West. I don't think that's any revelation. But sure, teams should be concerned about playing them because they could be a spoiler. They could either make it incredibly tough on one of the top seeds or even upset one of the top seeds. They've got major championship pedigree and medal with their 2 best players. We know that. Steph Curry, we obviously know what he brings. Anytime he steps on the floor, he's going to be dangerous with his shooting ability. And Draymond has started to score a little bit better recently. And people have been ripping Draymond. But he has not had a bad year. He's not a scorer, and he hasn't scored for the most part. But as far as playmaking and defense, he's been very good. And I agree with him totally. When you are in a position where you're playing with house money and nobody expects a thing from you, and if you lose in the first round or even the play-in, you're not going to really get criticized. But if you upset somebody, it's gravy and everybody's praising you. That's a great position to be in. And furthermore, there is nobody. It's a weird season with the injuries, with the condensed schedule. The seeding is not totally indicative of how good these teams are. And the best teams aren't necessarily in the best seeds. You look at the top seeds in the West. Is Utah really scaring anybody? Especially with Donovan Mitchell and Mike Conley, they'll be coming off injuries as they enter the playoffs. Is Phoenix really scaring anybody? I mean, outside of Chris Paul, nobody's got any playoff experience for the most part. Denver, Jamal Murray, we know, is out there. Second best player is Michael Porter Jr. Really kind of in his first extensive playoff experience. They're not scaring anybody. So, yeah, I think that Golden State could play a spoiler's role and, you know, ruin somebody's season or at least make it a lot tougher on them. So, sure, teams should be concerned about playing them.
So I was with you all along until you said people aren't scared of Denver. I mean, Denver's got the league MVP, right, Broussard? So if they got the league MVP, people should be terrified of them. You got the league MVP. No, yeah, so they should be really scary. You got the best player in basketball, and Nikola Jokic is going to get the award as the best player in basketball. So people should be scared. But certainly in the first round, we're talking about the first round. Yeah, certainly in the first round, they had the MVP. So, yeah, and the year before in the first round, absolutely.
Not the second
but I don't want to argue with you because, well, we're talking about the first round for the Warriors. I don't think you got the Warriors going to the conference finals. Yeah. Agreed. But, yeah, that's because they don't have a league MVP. They don't. But hold on. Let's address where this is at. I do think the Warriors could absolutely upset Utah in round one. And I'm old enough to remember when I was a casual and a bad basketball fan because I didn't love Utah's ball movement and respect the Stifle Tower. But at the end of the day, we all know Utah is a regular season team, not a playoff team. Their best offensive weapon is going to be getting back from injury right when the playoffs begin. And if Golden State ends up the 8 seed, which I think they likely will, that is a disaster for Utah. It is almost nothing to gain, everything to lose, and they will be a 1 versus 8 where the 8 has the best player in the series. I also do think that while Draymond Green at this point in his career is not a super useful regular season player, as Draymond has said before, there's 82 game players and there's 16 game players. I am a 16-game player. I think Draymond is incredibly useful in the right matchup again in the postseason. And if we remember Utah, who's going to be the 1 seed, it would look like after Phoenix's loss last night. If we remember Utah last year in round 1, Jamal Murray dropped 50 points every other game. Why? Because alleged defensive player of the year Rudy Gobert stands within 3 feet of the basket at all times, and he just gets free shots from the perimeter. Try that against Steph Curry. While Rudy Gobert might be a great defensive player to have if you're going up against a team such as Milwaukee, he is not super useful against Golden State because Golden State is just going to say, okay, we're going to run pick and rolls. You can't switch it because of Gobert, and Steph's going to have his heyday with you. So, Brandon, I think that there is a very specific team that should be afraid of the Warriors. That is the Jazz, and that's the team they are most likely to face if they do make it to the postseason, which I think they will.
I don't know, man. This is a simple answer to me, Nick. I mean, play-in game, yes. It's one game. You got Steph Curry. You go back to his Davidson season years when he led their team to the Elite 8 in the NCAA tournament. This dude is known for the big shots and big games. So play-in game, yeah, you should be nervous. I don't care who you are in the NBA. But we're talking about a 7-game series. They just don't have enough. To me, that's the answer. They don't have enough. I don't trust Wiggy. I'm sorry, Chris. Andrew Wiggy. He's a sub-20 guy. He's going to give you 18 points. That's what he's going to give you a night. So what he did last night, hats off to him. Great job. Playoff intensity game. He took it to another level, but I don't see him doing that consistently through a 7-game series. And then Draymond Green. Draymond Green, he's at his best when he has everybody around him. For him to be a focal point and be the second best player on that team, that's not enough for them to get past a Utah and not even the Phoenix Suns, who's struggling the last couple games.
See, here's my take on it, Broussard. I think the Suns were okay losing the way they did. If Andrew Wiggins needs to score almost 40 points and we lose, they're like, all right. If Draymond's got to have a triple-double and we lose, they're like, okay, we are not going to let Steph beat us. They decided to swarm Steph. He went 1 for 11 from 3. He was 7 for 22 from the field, and they just collapsed on him. They're playing a triangle defense. It's like Phil Jackson, but the opposite. Oh, 3 guys around him. Let's move the ball around. Uh-oh, maybe Steph gets it again. Oh, we got 3 guys on you. Let anyone else take the shot and beat us. And they were okay with that. I think this is at the end of the game. We got 3's not enough. Let's put 4 guys on him. I think Phoenix was like, look, if we lose by anyone else beating us other than Steph Curry, so be it. We're not going to let Steph beat us. I think that is going to be a preview of what we see when teams need to match up against the Warriors. We're like, you know what? Let Draymond try to cook. Let Andrew Wiggins try to cook. We're not going to let Steph light us up and kick us out of the playoffs.
Well, I'm glad you brought up Phoenix because Nick focused on Utah, and I get what he's saying. But Phoenix could be in trouble against Golden State as well. Look, Wilds, you're right. They loaded up on Steph. You just saw it from the highlights. It was incredible. If they do that, though, Draymond can play make. There's no that wasn't an aberration. He can make plays, and if he gets in the paint, he can finish. And Wiggins, it's not like Wiggins was hot from 3. Again, if your defense collapses on Steph to the degree that they did last night, Wiggins can get in the lane and make plays. He is a scorer. He's not a good shooter, but he's actually shot decently this year from 3. He can be streaky. Yep. He's 38% from there, but he can get in the lane and score if your defense is going to be that jumbled up because you're so focused on Steph. And then the Jordan Poole could get hot. The Warriors didn't shoot well from three last night either. They were 11 for 27, I believe. So not only should Utah be worried about Golden State, but Phoenix, I'm sorry, Brandon, Phoenix as well.
Guys,
I know there's your team, Brandon.
No, we just got to, hold on. We have to be honest about who these teams are and what, because we're not talking about a play-in. I think most of us believe the Warriors are going to get into the playoffs either by winning their first play-in game or their second play-in game. The question is, can they win a 7-game series? And in order for them to win a 7-game series, they need the right matchup. And I would argue Utah is a better matchup than Phoenix. And they need Steph to have at least 2, probably 3 40-point games. The way they beat Phoenix last night is not duplicable unless you're going to say, hey, Andrew Wiggins is going to have his next career best game. And I know Broussard still is holding on to his Andrew Wiggins stock like Dogecoin, like, hey, it's to the moon, America. But I don't think the rest of everyone else is. It's going to happen through Steph. And I think against Utah, it actually could. I think Steph could have a brilliant series against Utah, Jenna, because I don't think they match up well with him.
Yeah, until Wiggins hosts SNL, and then that Dogecoin. Time for Knicks NBA medals. Big game for Giannis last night. We just talked about 27 points, 12 boards in a win against Orlando. Not quite good enough to make the podium. Nick, who did it better than Giannis?
Oh, this is a Chris Broussard-centric podium, America. Bronze medal. The man that Chris Broussard is going to vote for is the best player in the NBA. I will say that again. He is going to fill out a ballot. The award's going to say best player in the league, and he's going to say, I'll take Nikola Jokic. That'll age beautifully. 30, 11, and 6 in a win over the Hornets as the Nuggets try to catch the Clippers for the 3 seed. Silver medalist, Zach LaVine. I do not have a Chris Broussard connection to Zach LaVine, aside from the fact that when Chris Broussard was a collegiate rapper, it feels like Zach LaVine could have been in that group with him. A little Al B. Sure situation going on. And then a gold medalist. We've got Andrew Wiggins. Chris Broussard told me 2 years ago, don't sleep on Andrew Wiggins. Don't say he's the greatest 4th option in NBA history, Andrew Wiggins. And I said, what are you talking about, Broussard? He's like, you just wait till May of 2021. He's going to have a great game over your MVP, Chris Paul. And I'm going to say, I told you so. 38 points on only 24 shots. Andrew Wiggins gets his first gold medal since field day in 7th grade. Congrats to him. Andrew Wiggins gets a gold for May 11th in the NBA.
I will give you props for being objective, Nick. There was so much falsehood in there, I can't even address it all, but congratulations to Wiggins. Great night. Jokic will be the MVP. Not the best player in the league. Steve Nash was never the best player in the league, but he will be the deserving MVP.
He's cut off. This is Wilds time.
Kevin Wilds, who just missed the cut.
Look, poor D'Angelo Russell's getting ripped for this because he thought he could sit on the sideline sign. He ends up falling down. Hey, he's got a point. You've seen guys lay down on the signs. You've seen guys get up and stand on the signs. How's he supposed to know that it was not, the sign did not have the structural integrity that he was expecting? D'Angelo Russell, don't let the sign let you down. You did an okay job.
Everywhere signs. We got to get back to the NFL. Hey, why isn't everyone on board with Tim Tebow time? We'll hear from Urban Meyer next. First things first. Get ready for the release of the NFL schedule tonight, 8 Eastern on FS1 and NFL Network, and Super 6 is giving away $5,000. One of the questions is this: which team will be in the Thanksgiving game on Fox? Choices are Packers, Vikings, Bears, Cardinals, or Eagles. Nick, which team would you like to see?
Bears, Justin Fields. I'm interested in the Bears this year. I want to see Justin Fields. I want to see how many teams made a mistake. So that's my answer. I want to see the Bears on as many national TV games as possible.
High on the Bears again, huh?
All right, good stuff.
Dang, I'm going to go with the...
Yep, download the app for your shot to win. Tune in for tonight's schedule release show on FS1 and the NFL Network. All right, good stuff. I'd like to see the Bears too. Let us move on. Tim Tebow, he might be in the NFL. Might be on that schedule. Yesterday we talked about the Jaguars' plan to sign the 33-year-old former quarterback, now tight end. Well, as we assumed, and as Jeff Darlington is now reporting, not everyone in the organization is thrilled with the idea. Yesterday, Tebow's former and likely future head coach, Urban Meyer, joined Chris Collinsworth to break it all down. Take a listen to what he had to say.
Yeah, we have not signed Tim. There's a thought going around. You know, he was in the best shape of his life, asked to see if he could work out with a couple of our coaches. I wasn't even there. And they came back to me and said, wow, this guy's in incredible shape. And I said, then I went another time and watched him try him out. And they said, go work on these things. He comes back later. They try him out again. I'm not there. And they come in and they said, wow, you know, this guy's ball skills. He's a great athlete. He looks like he's 18 years old, not 20, whatever he is, 33. And I said, guys, you don't understand now. This guy is, you know, he's the most competitive maniac you're ever going to talk to. And let's give it a shot. And I have not decided if we're going to do that or not yet. I'm getting close. I got to make a decision here pretty soon.
All right, Brandon, you don't need to read between the lines. Clearly, Urban Meyer, big fan of Tim Tebow. What do you think? Would signing him be good or bad for the Jags locker room?
Well, I know one person who thinks Tim Tebow in that locker room be great, and that's Shad Khan. They owned an entire day yesterday, the Jaguars. When's the last time that happened? Every network, everybody was talking about Tim Tebow and the Jacksonville Jaguars. That didn't even happen leading up to the draft, and we knew they were going to take Trevor Lawrence. We were talking about Justin Fields and Zach Wilson and Mac Jones. We weren't talking about the Jacksonville Jaguars. So that's one person who will absolutely love him in the locker room. Look, here's the deal. It's not going to matter until Tim Tebow makes the team. This is the offseason. When he makes the team, let's say if he makes the team, then that's what matters. Urban Meyer, you're on the clock because those veterans in that locker room, you'll have a year to be able to come with that college mentality. This is how we're going to do things. It's my way or the highway. If Tim Tebow doesn't perform, then they're going to be at his neck. That's what's going to happen. So right now, it's great for business. Hell, it's great for football. It's great for us. We're talking about it. It's a great topic. And then when it's time to strap up, let's see if Tim Tebow performed, Kevin.
Yeah, so God forbid the Jacksonville Jaguars, with their 15-game losing streak, Nick, bring Tim Tebow in. What are they going to do? Oh, my gosh. Guys, this locker room is a sacred place. How are we going to invite Tim Tebow to camp when we're busy with the rookie talent show and giving people silly haircuts? I just don't think the sanctity of Jacksonville and the histrionics around this are absurd. They're absurd. Yes. You guys lost 15 games in a row. You tried to lose all the games last year, so you got Trevor Lawrence, and you did. So the idea that the amount of pearl clutching about bringing Tim Tebow in, who he's not even in. I mean, this is the other thing, Nick. That soundbite from Urban Meyer, that's the first time I'm like, oh, they're not going to sign Tebow. It's very easy to be like, yeah, we're going to bring him in. He's going to be a good fix. He's going to be a good fit for our squad. But hearing Urban say like, I got to make up. You think? I don't know, Brandon. For the way he sounds, I don't think. Now I'm leaning the other way.
He just
I don't think he's going to sign.
Okay, he's definitely going to sign him. I don't know if he's going to make the team. He said, at the end of the soundbite, he's like, I said, let's do it. And then he corrected himself. And he's like, and I still got to make that decision. You made that decision. But I'll address the Jags thing in a moment. But first, can you put Brandon on the screen with me? Because I'm going to say something to Brandon. I think he's going to think I'm joking. But I am totally serious. Brandon, do you have Urban Meyer's phone number? Because do you?
I do not have Urban
I can give it
Meyer's
to
number.
you.
No, I do not.
Okay, I'm going to text it to you during the break. Yeah, because he used to work with Fox. Okay. He's close with Colin, so I'm by proxy, like, first relation. You should go get a tryout. If that's how it's working in Jacksonville, hey, he's in great shape. Those ball skills. Can we show Brandon's numbers since Tebow last stepped on a football field? Man. Brandon, before Tebow retired, you were awesome. After Tebow retired, you have almost 5,000 yards, almost 40 touchdowns. So, hey, let's send him this picture Any video from Brandon without a shirt on, which best I can tell is all the video of Brandon when he's not on this show, and get you a tryout. I'm not saying, Brandon, that you can necessarily pass DJ Chark as the #1 receiver, but if Jacksonville, it's just open tryouts for Fantasyland, Brandon actually could help him. I'm dead ass serious, guys.
Oh my goodness.
Like this is ridiculous. And it's not a sideshow, and it's not a carnival. And so the idea of, oh, they lost 15 in a row, so why not? Well, then sign me. Hey, people would love, I guarantee you'd get massive ratings numbers in the Denver area and greater Serbia if you had let me field a punt and get
but Nick,
waylaid. Buffalo.
Nick,
there's a lot of things you could do.
I feel like you're jumping the gun. Well, first off, it's going to be hard to sign Tebow and myself because who's going to wear 15? Like, there's going to be a big fight over 15. I have to have 15. The last time I wore another number, it wasn't great. I wore 19 in Miami, and it wasn't good. I played the worst football of my entire career starting at age 6.
Confirmed.
But here's the deal. It's the offseason. I feel like you're just getting ahead of this conversation just a bit because he needs to go in there and show the team, show the coaches that he can contribute. If he can, then what would be the big deal? Like, okay, he hasn't played ball since 2012. So what? He can come in and catch, 30 balls. Like, I truly believe that. The tight end position today, they're not asking you to block. You're going against guys who really aren't that athletic. I mean, we're talking about linebackers, some safeties that are stiff. So you're asking a guy to run a 10-yard out cut. You're asking a guy to be able to run a 10-yard corner route. And a lot of times these teams are playing zone. So you just got to get to the spot. That's all you got to do is get to the spot and catch the ball. If he can get to the spot and catch the ball.
He can't get to the spot. Brandon,
that was a bad route. Can we see that route again?
He ran a 4. No, look, Brandon, he ran a 4.740 coming out of college. What do you think he's running at 34? I mean, Jesus, man. Like, what are we doing here? I don't. And by the way, of course it's not going to be popular in the locker room. Like the idea that these guys, most of whom were born in the late 90s or at this point, very early 2000s, are wrapped up in the Tebow story from 2011. They were in 3rd grade. They don't care. And they're not going to take their pointers from the worst player on the team. Like, I can't believe this is a thing. I really can't believe. It's fine, minor league baseball. Nobody cares. It is a sideshow. You are trying to sell tickets. This is professional football. And we're going to do this with the #1 pick of the draft, the highest profile new head coach. This is what he wants to do. I think Urban is a smart guy. I like Urban. I cannot believe this is his first major decision. Because Trevor Lawrence wasn't a decision. That was an obvious one. That adding this to your locker room, I just can't believe it. But evidently they're going to. And I don't think, Brandon, that they are signing him to cut him. I think if they sign him, he's making the team. I don't think they're signing him Wilds to embarrass him. Right? Like, so Wilds, does it matter? You said you're not sure if they're signing him. Let me ask you this, Wilds. If they do sign him, you think he's at jeopardy of being a training camp casualty? Like, that's what they're doing to Tebow?
Yeah, that's what Belichick did. The Patriots signed him to a 2-year deal and cut him. So I think if he gets signed, he can easily be cut. And Brandon, the quick thing I want to dig in on, and I know we don't have a ton of time, is like this fuzzy leadership, like the Tebow effect. And you've heard different sort of examples. That in Florida, and when you're like the Heisman Trophy winner and you can motivate everybody, that really works. But then you get to the NFL, and like Nick says, you're not... you don't have a sterling NFL resume. You're 33 years old. You're not sort of like the guy. Is it possible to lead if you're not a great player?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, it needs to come from, your alphas. It needs to come from your dogs in the locker room. But there's guys in the locker room that you lean on. It's like, hey, man, I'm thinking about getting married. Hey, I'm looking for a new financial advisor. Or, hey, can you help me just get my life back on track? So there's guys that add a lot of value there. And then just to Tim Tebow, maybe he was supposed to be a tight end from the beginning, Nick. I know it's been a long time, but we knew he wasn't a quarterback. So if he puts in the work, he gets the opportunities, and he takes advantage of it, Jenna, maybe we'll see Tim Tebow make this team.